Ever looked at a blueprint and thought, this is just the beginning of something incredible? Welcome to the Inner Blueprint Podcast, where we believe the most extraordinary builds start with you.
I'm Shawn Feurer,
the Universal Mindset Disruptor.
For over 2 decades, I've turned simple plans into remarkable realities in the home improvement world. Now, I'm here to help you do the same for your life and for your business. Make sure to take some notes, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Inner Blueprint, the podcast designed specifically for the home improvement space, but actually adds benefit to anybody that's looking to improve their mindset, improve their results by thinking better thoughts. Today, as I always am, I'm so excited for today's guest. He's a client of mine. He's actually become a friend of mine. He is an in-home sales professional. And I know so far we've had a few guests, owners in the business. I thought, let's get one of the top reps in the industry that I work with that has a proven track record of success, not only in the home improvement business, but in his previous sales career. He actually was a top rep for a GMC dealership in Venice, Florida for almost 10 years. He then went to work for his current company, which he's been with since 2019, Absolute Aluminum, top rep, President's Club, accolades all over the place. And this guy is a decorated sales professional. He does the right thing with the customer. He follows the process. And before working with me, he had really good mindset. He's been working with me for a while. He's got great mindset now, and I'm super excited to welcome him to the show. Nick Feola, Absolute Aluminum, in-home sales professional. Welcome to the show, my friend. What's going on?
Thank you. Glad to be here. Super excited, actually, to be here. Finally here.
I know, right? We've actually been talking about doing this episode for a little while, but as it goes, you're an in-home sales rep. Your schedule's crazy. We got the ups and downs of the sales, which I think we'll talk a little bit, because just like any rep, when you're killing it and having a killer month, you're like, let's go, Shawn. And then if you run into a couple of weeks of stress, you're like, never mind, I'm not a good salesperson. I don't even want to talk to you.
Oh man, that is no truer words have ever been spoken. You hide from the guy that knows you so well and knows that, you know, when you're clicking on all cylinders and when you're not, and it's like, hey man, hey, and you're just like, yeah, I'll call you back. I'll be right there.
It's so funny doing the work that I do. I've had to get thick skin because I have most of my clients are friends of mine now, right? And when they start avoiding me, I used to think, what did I do? And then I've now found out, oh no, they were in their head about something. They didn't want to talk to the mindset guy.
I love it. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with what you did. Yeah. So what did we change? What did I change? All right, you changed something. And funny, we'll just go right into it because obviously, I've been with you for, oh my gosh, and we've been doing this, a year or better now? A year?
Yeah, I think it's a little over when we first started.
Yeah, a little bit more than a year, and it just went from 0 to $1 million right out of the gate. It's so incredible when you're more aware, like with your program. It's so aware of things around you, but most importantly, aware of yourself and your own paradigms. And you start unlocking the more work you do, and you start unlocking these things and unpacking. And you're like, oh my gosh, and you start, oh wow, I was doing that, or oh wow, I got to stop doing that, or oh wow, why do I do this? Why do I believe this? And like you always say, it's pre-programmed. It's not even mine. It came from my parents or a teacher in second grade, or and it's crazy. It makes your head spin at first.
And then you're letting that affect your income and your livelihood and your family by getting in your head, right? That's the craziest thing about it.
Yeah, and you're just so unaware. I mean, you just walk in, you had a crap day, or you had a meeting that didn't go well or whatever, and then you don't even realize like how it affects like your family. We have 3 kids at home, plus my wife who's also in sales.
I was going to say, let's give your wife some props, because as we're starting this episode, I'm like, we should have had Jess hop in here with us, right? Yeah. But your beautiful wife, Jessica Feola, works for Absolute. She's also an amazing sales rep, right?
Yeah, that she is. She's an amazing rep, amazing wife, amazing mom, amazing everything. And you don't even realize when you just come home and you're just unloading your stuff, and not realizing that, that affects everybody around you. And then when you become more aware, or you start looking around, you're like, oh man, it's just totally different. It's your whole train of thoughts, how you think, and how much differently I think now than, before we met. It's crazy. I remember talking to DJ, our owner of our company, Absolute Aluminum. And I'll never forget that day. I was walking through the outdoor showroom and he was coming past, and he always stops no matter what he's doing. He'll always stop, take a few minutes, talk to you. And I don't know, we said a couple things back and forth, and then he just blew about you and inner blueprint and mindset and this. And I just was like a wave came. I was like, oh my gosh. And then DJ being DJ, he's like, you want to get in the program? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I got you. And the next thing I know, it was like a couple days later, he's like, here you go, you start too. But yeah, it was crazy. It was just absolutely crazy. And that's just DJ. He finds any piece of gold and he's sharing it with everybody that will listen or give him a minute, because that's just DJ.
Yeah, no, and he's been a guest. The listeners, if you haven't heard it, there's an episode with DJ, and one of my favorite humans, like the most generous person you'll ever meet. Amazing business owner. Yeah, super good.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. People, I can tell you already. And actually, we just had a guy come in, pretty well seasoned guy come in, and at a higher level. And he came in, and he was only been here a few days, and he's like, I hope you all know how good you have it here. I was like, oh, we do. He's like, yeah, the owners don't do that. He's like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, we work for a pretty special guy and a pretty awesome leadership team. I mean, our whole leadership team, it's like they're handpicked from him, and they've all been there a long time. And it's just, yeah, we're like a big family at Absolute, it's pretty cool. It's very, very, very unlikely, to see something like that, especially this day and age.
It's really unheard of, and especially going back like DJ through the Great Recession and some of the challenges he's overcome and still maintained the pace of the company. And I will give you props, because you were the pioneer of the group that came into my program, and now we've got the whole sales team. And I've noticed a shift in how you guys work together, how you communicate. It's a team. Like, you guys are definitely a team, in my opinion.
We are a team, and that's so. Well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't worked in a million places, but typically you think of sales as not really team sport. Sales as an individual.
Give me leads.
Yeah,
take my lead.
Give me leads. Yeah, I have my leads. Why does he get more leads? Why did he get the cheese deal? Why'd she get that? But I'll tell you, it's changed the whole dynamic of the office. I mean, it's my phone rings now more than anything just from my team members, and it's so funny because they see how I am, especially because being with you, and I was telling them stuff and texting the group chain, and they're like, oh, Mr. Positivity, I'm like, well, have you seen my numbers lately? It's like, and it just yeah, and they're like, what? Next thing I know, DJ saw that and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, you're all in. Yep, we got. I was like, yep. So it's been a ride. It really has. I think this is I just had my. Go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, just because I think I just had my 5th anniversary of the Absolute actually, yeah. Which is, it's like I blinked and 5 years went by.
Well, and you already had pretty good mindset when I met you. I can't take credit for, obviously, your previous success was amazing. I think you've improved your mindset. How did you get into sales? Let's talk about that story, because for today's episode, and anybody who's listening, if you know somebody who's thinking about getting into sales, we're going to talk about sales, and specifically in the home improvement industry, because I know right now so many people are challenged financially, and I know a lot of young adults that have gone to college and they don't have a career path. And I mean, I was lucky enough to be raised by the greatest salesman in the world, my stepdad, Ralph Feurer, who raised me. And he taught me at an early age, Shawn, if you want money, go sell somebody something. And to me, the home improvement industry, it's a $500 billion industry. There's demand in every market with old homes. And, we'll talk about your start, but then we'll kind of touch on more about just how cool it is to be in in-home sales in this industry. But how did you get your start? Let's go there first.
Oh, man. I was early 20s. I'm from Connecticut originally. Just moved to Florida, the 08 into 09, that crash, that recession. My dad was a builder, worked for him, all summers and straight out of high school, and a family thing. And the short of it is the recession came. All of our work was, if anybody's familiar with Westchester County, New York, it's a very prominent area to build houses in. And it's like overnight, it just dried up. So I had some family that had come down to the Gulf Coast of Florida here. My uncle retired my dad's brother. Long story short, my dad gave it a try. And he got down here and started buying up a few houses, and it was only a matter of time before I got the phone call. Come on down, let's remodel some houses. You're not doing anything. Well, yeah, you closed the company. I'm just, tying up some loose ends. And other than that, I was going to be out of work. And so I gave it a shot. So came on down to Florida. I wasn't here a handful of days, and my truck broke. So it was a GMC dealership right down the street. Got the truck towed into there for a fuel pump, and I'm sitting in the waiting room. Start talking with a gentleman, and he had a Buick GMC shirt on, so I knew he worked there, but I didn't realize he was like the guy. And he was their general sales manager, guy named Joe Mazer. Love him to death to this day, Joe. If you are ever listening to this, I love you. You gave me my start in sales, and I'm forever grateful for that. So yeah, I just started chit chatting with him, and he's the one that asked me. He's like, "What do you do for a living?" I go, "Well, right now I'm just remodeling some houses." And he goes, you don't do any type of sales? I was like, no. He's like, you'd probably be pretty good at it. I said, yeah. He goes, anytime you want a shot, let me know. I'll give you an opportunity. I said, okay. So, I mean, I was a dirty shirt, ripped up jeans, work boots. I'm like thinking I'm going to do an interview right there. He's like, why don't you go home and get cleaned up? You come back, talk to us later. So that's what I did. And I just went in there, no blinders, anything, just, bright, just ready to go. And they hired me on the spot. I started the next day. And that was it. He was like, you start tomorrow. I was like, sure. And I had no idea what to expect. And this was like an old school family dealership. Back then it was called Darby Buick GMC in Venice, Florida. And everybody I worked with like 7 other reps. I think they were all in their 50s and 60s. Okay. And here I come in and it was just off to the races. I set a gross record like my first month out there for biggest deal. I was salesman of the month, first month, second month, third month. And then all of a sudden it just went year after year, plaque after plaque, salesman of the year. So it just got better and better. By the time I was 3 years in, maybe, I didn't even need to take, new, we call them ups, in the car business. When people pull up to the lot, you always see that guy running out there waving you down, stopping your car,
like,
those kind of lead. Creepy car salesman, hit the gas, go. I barely left my office at that point. I mean, I just kind of started figuring it out. And in sales just, people think sales is like rocket science. I never went to college. I never had to study anything, get a license for it. It's pretty easy if you're if you're friendly and you like talking to people.
Yeah.
I personally would say for in-home sales, if you're, thinking about any type of sales, but in-home for me especially is your time management. If you have good time management, it's the best job you ever had. If you have poor time management, it'll tear you apart.
You're not going to make money because you're going to sit around, right?
You're going to sit around, and if you're a person that needs to be managed and micromanaged, then probably not the best thing for you. But if you can operate on your own and you're driven, I mean, if you want to make money, sales. Both my kids are 8, 10, and 13 at home right now, and I have one more out of the house, and she actually works at that dealership to this day. I got her in the door, and she does internet sales there. But the 3 we still have home, I tell all 3 of them all the time, Daddy, do this, do that. Okay, sell it to me. Or Daddy, I want to do this. Why? Sell me, and it's funny, even my 10-year-old, he loves it. Oh yeah. He's always looking to make a deal. Or Daddy, let me sell you this. I'm like, all right, let me hear your pitch. And, just bringing them up from young. So, you don't listen, some college and all that stuff is great for some people, but it seems like the more people I see, even people I graduated with in 2001 from high school, the only people went college and, school. And, I just, social media, you can see what everybody's doing these days. And it just seems like you don't have to go to college to do well. A lot of people that go to college are out of jobs. They're back living at home with their parents. They're in debt up to their eyeballs unless they can get some sort of relief or something. It's just, sales. I mean, it takes nothing but drive, hunger.
I have to interrupt you a little bit. You just gave the mindset guy a new idea I can't believe you have your kids sell to you. I freaking love that.
Oh, man. God, yeah. Oh, that's anything you want.
I have two teenage daughters, and I hate saying no all the time, but I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say sell it to me. There's no free rides. Why is this a good idea? Yeah, no, I love that, dude. That
you got to close the closer. You want something? Oh, you want to go to Orlando for the weekend? all right, sell me on it. Where's your pitch? You give me something here. So it worked well. It does. It's and now it's like we'll be out and about or anything, and then one of the kids will be like, "Oh, I can sell him that, or let me change just whatever it is." It's like a game we play now.
Yeah.
But little do they know that they're sharpening those skills. So you could be 18 and walk into somewhere, get a job, and you make six figures your first year out. It really it's a lot easier than people think. Especially in-home sales is really cool. Like car sales was good, but that was my introduction to sales. So it was like sink or swim. Now, granted, when I went in there, I worked with a lot of older people that they were kind of set in their ways, had their custom. Nobody was willing to help me, or it was just throw you to the wolves and you sink or swim. And thankfully, I swam. I swam the backstroke, but yeah, I did okay. But and then the dealership changed hand a couple times. A lot of new people came in, and the competition got a lot more fun. Got younger and hungrier, and we went from a mom and pop to more of a well-known multiple store kind of corporate. And good and bad with both of that, I guess. Some new rules and stuff like that. It was kind of got away from the hometown feel, but at the same time, but in-home sales, one thing I love is you're actually like really helping people.
How did you get there?
So
let's do the transition first, and then I want to talk about helping people.
Gotcha. I got scouted by Absolute.
For like a decade, right?
Yeah, 10 years with the same dealership. I didn't have any plans to go anywhere. And the sales manager from Absolute, Chris Roachford, another wonderful man. And we used to run into each other at golf tournaments and here and there around town, and we got to know each other pretty well. And he always used to ask me, I'd be on the tee box on my phone making a deal, or doing this thing. Man, that guy never stops working. So he just kind of started planting that seed. When are you going to come work for me? Kind of started as a joke, and this happened for like a year. And over the course of a year, it kind of went from a joke to, okay, well, when are you going to come work for me? And then I'll never forget, he promised me two things. And man, was he right. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. You can always go back to your dealership. They'll take you back in a second. He goes, you come work for us at Absolute. Give it a chance. You got to go through training. You got to go do this and that. But when you're up and running, he goes, let me tell you. He goes, I promise you a so much better quality of life. You won't even believe it. He said, and if you work as hard as you work at that dealership, you'll make more money. And first year out, man, he was not kidding. I was like, and it's, it was just unbelievable. And then meeting DJ and then, Adam and Alicia and Ryan and just the leadership team. And then the core, I walked into a sales team where, I was at the other dealership 10 years. I thought that was a lot. I walked into a sales team as a rookie and they're like 20 years, 18 years. And I'm like, holy smokes. Yeah, it was a little intimidating at first. But I jumped right in. I was off to the races from day one. I had another guy named Nick and a guy named Sonny, two guys on my team that had been there a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They jumped right in. They half and half trained me, and I couldn't ask for two better people that actually cared that I succeeded. And it was just off to the races, man. And it's just been an awesome ride. Awesome ride.
I interrupted you. What do you love? The car sales treated you well, but what is better? You say quality of life. Just talk about the difference in home sales.
Well, the quality of life, like I said, if you're good with time management, you're not stuck behind a desk all day. I have like super ADD. That's one thing I have in common with DJ. I can't sit still. The fact that I'm sitting here just talking to you, I'm like fidgeting. It's just how I am. But you get to really truly help people. You sell someone a car, they drive away. Okay, that's great. But when you're like creating this vision with somebody and, putting it all together and really, because it's no secret. Somebody sees a salesperson, it's just the bad, rap salespeople get. You see a salesperson, your wall goes up. But if you're actually a salesperson that really cares, you can bring that wall down really quickly. Just show them that you're not just there to walk in the door with commission breath, as they call it, or just you really listen to people. Take the time to listen to people, listen what they want, and then you have the best product. Like our company, I know I have the best product. I know I have the best everything in my company. I mean, we deliver our A game everything.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. Well, that too. They got the best rep too.
Yeah, we call it the
But,
ABCs of selling, right? Always be closing.
always.
The company, the price, and you.
And you, man, most importantly. But it's just that helping people. And then, it's like, you have the opportunity to solve their problem, make it affordable, answer all their questions. And, by the time it's over, they're like excited. You're excited because you want to see the finished product. I mean, it's just, and then it gets installed and then they're calling you like, oh my God, you got to come to the party this Friday. It's like, okay, yeah, it's the best feeling in the world, in that sense, when you do these, big, awesome projects. But you know what, like even today, for instance, I went to an appointment this morning. Lady just needed some gutter work done. She didn't spend more than $400 or $500. I changed that whole lady's month probably because she had a problem. She didn't know what to do. I showed up, I walked her through it. We talked about some options, and boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, she was just happier than a clam. And, to me, it doesn't matter whether if you need, a small repair, you need this, you need that, whatever it is, you're really, I know when something happens in my house, something breaks or something major, you're like, oh my God, it's scary.
Yeah.
It really is to a lot of people, especially that aren't familiar with, home improvement or construction or anything. So it's a really great, it's just a really great thing to be a part of, man. It really is.
Well, I love this. And this is a plug for the home improvement industry and sales, but you've heard me say, I call it the spirit of the business, and you are in the spirit. I mean, we are working on people's homes, and for most Americans, I think like 66% of Americans, it's their number one investment. And it's the place they bring babies home to, celebrate anniversaries, holidays. I mean, the home is a sacred space. And as an in-home sales professional, like you just described, you get to go out there, add value to the home, add beauty, comfort, efficiency, equity, and you can get paid to do it. I mean,
and you get paid. Yeah. And I get paid to do all that. And it's just, I can't, and you know what? And that's tying back into like mindset. I mean, whether it was car sales, now, home improvement, sales, but I mean, it's so crucial. You see people in a funk, or you see, people get around, like you talk a lot about energy, and man, I can't tell you how, like, preach that. So like, just keep preaching, because I like being more aware and things like that. Now I can just see, I can see from 30 feet away when somebody's going to zap my energy, and I'm like, nope, nope, I'm good, or somebody like beelining towards me because they want to unload all their crap on me, and I'm like, nope, I gotta go. Yeah, nope, thank you. And it's just, keeping that clean mind, and that, and it's, I don't know, it's from the beginning, and I was like, kind of trying to figure everything out, and going through and listening to modules and things like that through your program. Yeah. And I was like, you're just kind of deer in the headlights, and then you slow it down a little bit, and you start just learning about yourself and what makes you tick and this and that. But listen, if you're not putting in the work, I'll be the first one to tell you, it's not happening. Put in the work, get real with yourself. And do it. And don't, like anything new, nobody likes change. Nobody likes things that are weird, or nobody likes talking to themselves in the mirror at first. I
love myself, Nick. I love myself.
I know. I know. Now I'm like, you sexy guy, but it's just, it's literally, it's been life-changing. So many things are going in such a positive direction, and it's amazing. And it's probably true for any sales, but things start clicking, and the positive attitude, and just the mindset of helping people. That's a huge thing. A lot of people think sales, I'm just going to go, I'm going to go sell something and make money. If you actually want to help people, you'll do 100 times better and go 100 times further when you're in the business of helping people and taking their dreams or their needs and bringing it to life. And I mean, you'll do 100 times better approaching it like that.
Preach that, right? I mean, my dad that trained me in sales originally, he would always tell me, Shawn, sales is service, and the more you serve, the more you sell. And you have that approach. Most of the companies I work with, we don't do high pressure sales tactics. We do consultative, educate the consumer, serve the consumer, and earn the right to ask for their business. And if you do, the close is easy. They want to do business with you because you did your job. You served them, right?
Yep. It's not hard. People, nobody wants to be sold, but everybody likes to buy stuff. It's just,
you and I and Jess have that in common. We like to buy stuff, right?
Oh yeah. Do we ever? Do we ever? That's one of our weekly meeting jokes. Is if Jess went out and got a new bag this week.
Did you get a new bag? I know. I love that.
Yeah.
I love she does because I know she had a good week.
Yeah, she'll be bragging on the call. I got a new Louis bag today. Somebody had a good week. Oh yeah. And that, you know what, and for anybody looking to get into sales, and I mean, it's like, oh, they make it sound so easy. It really is that easy. I mean, whatever sales, division you go in or whatever, I highly recommend home service because it's not only a paycheck, but when you're in home improvement service and things, it's like we're just talking about, it's that finished product, and it's seeing that reaction on the customer, and they're out using this new space and they're showing all their friends and their families coming over, and it's a good feeling because you designed that. I may not have built it, we have amazing crews that build them, but I designed it with them, walked them through it, everything, and it's a good payoff, and it's a good feeling. It really is.
I mean, and honestly, we'll give props to your production department because they put up a beautiful product. Customers, but that's the big thing about sales is who puts the truck in the driveway, right? The salesperson does by doing their job. So we talked a little bit about energy for a minute, and I know when you're selling and things are going well, it's easy to keep that positive mindset and that positive energy. What happens when you hit a slump, and how do you use mindset to get out of it? Because I know as a top rep, you still run into some challenges once in a while, right?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Oh yeah. We were just talking about that. Just coming off a little I hate even saying that word slump, but that's what they are. They're slump. Everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody, the top of the hill, everybody's got a slump once in a while.
Anyone who says they've never had a slump or don't have slumps,
they are. Yeah, they are. It's, you have to stay consistent and muscle through it. I know, and I'll be, brutally honest. And I told you this, it's like I got a little bit cocky, I think. I was just flying so high, and, cutting corners as far as my mental health, my mindset, like, walk by the mirror. I know I'm doing my affirmations every morning in the mirror, but, I'm good. What's up, guy? I'll see you later, or not, whatever it is, not listening to a quick module on the way to a lead, or not getting in the mirror, I'm going to help this person. And, some people go, that stuff will make or break you. If you're not consistent, even when you hit a slump, if your mindset isn't still moving forward and doing what you need to do, you'll go right back to square one. You'll blink and go right back to square one. I mean, it's just so important.
I don't know if we've talked about it in this way, Nick, but like when I'm dealing, and even before I was a mindset coach, I was a sales trainer. Mm-hmm. I owned a home improvement company in sales. And my dad used to talk about this. When we're getting started, you do whatever it takes. But then when you get to a certain level, you do get cocky and you stop doing some of the same things, doing follow-up calls, presenting even when you're tired, don't feel like it, working on your, and it's so interesting because you do that up and down. And one of the things I've seen you work on is to try to eliminate, you're still going to have some downs, make them shorter and not as far down, and then make the highs higher. And that's how you have that steady increase year over year of your sales going up. Because, mindset, process, it's all a journey. Like you have to always be honing your skills. I mean, you're an in-home sales professional. You have a license to sell. Don't take that for granted. Like do the work, like you say. I mean, behind the scenes, making sure your sample and kits are clean, doing some role playing. I know you listen to a lot of sales material online. I mean, you're a person that goes on social media to get content to help you be better, right?
Yeah, that's my scrolling time, or my feed, my TikTok, all that. It's one sales trainer and one, motivational things, sales things. You have to keep up on it. Like you said, I mean, especially processes. Listen, my company lives and dies by process, but it is a proven process. DJ always says his famous line, "Don't mess with the recipe." It's like, don't, and he always say, he goes, it's Toll House cookies. Do they mess with the recipe? No, don't mess with the recipe. It's like, yep, gotcha. And if you're in a slump, are you messing with the recipe? Probably. Okay. So it's, but it is, like you said, I mean, when you get the highs, go higher. When you get the lows, try to minimize them. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you're, you always say, where is your mindset? Where is your mindset? So many people I hear, they're like, man, I'm going to make 100 grand this year. 100 grand, you need to 5x that, because if your ceiling is at 100 grand, that's the best you're going to ever do. You need to start raising that ceiling way up there, because you'll constantly keep going up the ladder. If I just say, oh, I'll make 200 grand a year, well, I just capped myself. So I could have the best year of my life. And I'm only going to subconsciously, I don't even know I'm doing it. And that when you started like, talking about that, and I started learning about that, you're like, you don't even know the cap you just put on yourself. You're like, what are you going to make this year? Oh, 200 grand. Why that? Why only 200? Oh, I don't know. It's a great year. Is it? Oh, I don't know. It's like, oh, you're like, you need to raise that ceiling, because if you keep it low, then you have nothing to strive for. And like all this stuff is just what you just keep dropping these little nuggets all the time. And, you have a whole podcast with you, and maybe, those few things that you say that'll just sting me, and I'll go to bed thinking about stuff like that, and it's just, it's wild.
I love it, man. I love it. Good conversation on sales. Anything else? Like, I don't know if you have some information, maybe a tip for a new sales rep in the industry, or even a struggling sales rep, like some of the things that you do to get yourself.
I'd say, for a new rep, misery loves company. So misery loves company. If you're a new rep, the guy or the girl who's, who's sitting there just kind of not really doing much, or kind of, they want to grab the new person and drop some, some poison in them real quick. Oh, this guy stinks. Complaining. This place is, don't hang out with those reps. Hang out with the guy that's going 100 miles an hour. That's, driving the new truck, and that's, always smiling. That's, always vacationing, those are the people to hang around with. And it's stuff our parents taught us since we were little. Hang out with the winners. Don't hang out with the losers, as you are who you hang around. You really are. So
I think in a lot of sales teams, when they get in slumps, there's the water cooler talk where everybody wants to complain about the leads, the sales process, you name it, right? And that's great advice. Stay away from that, right? Feed your mind only positive and surround yourself with the best.
Yeah. And mindset, I give a huge plug to you. You've changed my life. And like you said, I mean, believe me, I had a great life before we met, but I mean, how does it get better? It just did. It just did. It just does. And that's, I mean, it's just so important. Your mindset, your mind work is so important. And I can tell you, most everybody, that you talk to on the street, unless they're in your program like yours, or they're conscious of mine, people don't even know that they're sabotaging themselves daily. I didn't know stuff that I was doing. I was killing myself daily for what?
Well, let's talk about this, because this is one thing, because before you met me, you didn't do positive affirmations, but you did negative ones, right? Automatically.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Call center, the leads, customer, the this, the that. It's always somebody else's fault,
And then when it's not, you're hard on yourself too. I've heard you do it, right? Like you're beating yourself up, and that's program past coming out. That's like shit from the past, that when we get into a little bit of a tough situation, and that's where the power of your mind and doing positive affirmations. And I love hearing you say that. And thanks for the props. I do this for the I love seeing you and your beautiful wife, your family. Like sometimes you're on my calls on road trips, going to archery competitions. She's at the mall buying. I mean, it's just really cool to see you take good information and make your life better with it. So hats off to you. And I'm so appreciative of the work that you do. And I know Absolute, you're a valued team member. You're, one of the best reps I've ever had the opportunity to work with. And honestly, one of my favorites. So thanks for leaning in, bro.
Oh man, thank you. No, greatly appreciated. And like I said, I'm sure Jess would love to do a little husband-wife podcast someday, or do something else.
I know. We were getting set up. I'm like, why didn't I have Jess do this with us? Right?
Oh man, I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I'm sure the second this gets released, she'll be listening to it, because she's not listening to this now. But Yeah, I'd like to talk about, like a fear firewall, that you like to talk about. It's like when you're getting ready to do something and you might even take a couple steps towards it, and it's kind of a big, it's that seagull,
Mm.
that seagull, right? Yeah, that big one that scares you, and then you start doing something, and then you get that fear, that little fear firewall, and then you lose all your plans and you forget all about it, and then you have this great idea, and then fear, yeah, that's a heck of a thing, man.
Well,
And
we talk about fear's not real though, right? I mean, fear,
it's
danger,
not.
but most of the time we're afraid of things or anxious about things that aren't even real for us. And that's been
Hmm.
my hugest breakthrough the last few years, is just powering through that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like you said, it's not real. It's just fear is this thing that's drummed up in our head, that is supposed to like protect us. It's like our bodies trying to protect you from getting hurt, or getting, whatever, losing, getting hurt, but
Yeah,
it's not real. It's in your head.
imaginary things. Yeah.
That's all it is. So I would be so stoked if Jess hopped on and did
All
this,
right.
because she's
So
not.
we're going to leave a little challenge then. So Jess, if you're listening to this later on,
Oh man.
I think there is a paradigm or a program about men in the home improvement business and sales, but I happen to work with quite a few powerful women that are powerful business owners, sales leaders, sales professionals, and I'd love to have a couple of them on as guests. And Jess, we'd love to have you
Okay.
at some point. So there's a challenge. We'll just throw it out there. Any last
I like it.
Any last final thoughts?
No, that's really it, man. I'm glad we got together. I'm glad we got to do this, chat a little bit. It's yeah, it's been an experience to say the least, man. And we're gonna keep on trucking. We're gonna keep on trucking together.
Yes,
Keep
we
that
are.
heck yeah, keep that mindset fresh, and always moving in a positive direction. And like I said, for everybody listening, man, just protect your energy, because that is so, so crucial. And I learned that from you. And now that I protect my energy, I'm much better off. My health, my mental health, physical health, my life, all of it.
Your bank account.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, my bank account especially. Absolutely. Big old W on that one.
All right.
But yeah.
Final sign off. How does it get better?
Oh man, it always does, and it just did. It just does.
It just did.
Thanks again, man.
And just like that, we've laid another brick in the foundation of your incredible journey. Thanks for tuning into the Inner Blueprint podcast with Shawn Feurer, your navigator through the maze of mindset and success. Remember, every tool you need is already in your belt. It's all about how you use them to craft the masterpiece that is your life and business. Now, don't let the momentum stop here. Follow me on social media and subscribe wherever you get your podcast to never miss an episode filled with the blueprints to your best self.